In today's session, we will see about last phase of STLC, that is called as a test closure step. So test closure. So once you complete the test execution as a tester, and once all the defects are fixed, finally we conclude to the test closure. So what exactly is test closure activity? It marks the end of the testing process and ensures that all the testing activities have been completed and all requirements have been met. So that is the main objective of test closure. So as a tester, once we have completed all the testing, all the test execution is completed, all the issues are logged, all the major issues are fixed, there are no P0 and P1 level issues are open, then we can conclude it as a completion of test activities. So all the after test execution is completed, bugs report is completed, all the issues are fixed by development team and retested by tester as well, and there are no other P0 and P1 level issues which are open, then we can give QA sign off to that build. So what is the meaning of QA sign off? So as a QA, we are saying that all the testing is completed and there are no P0 and P1 level issues which are open, then we can officially close the testing cycle, and this phase is called as test closure. So once that is done, what we can do is, once all the testing is completed, QA team should conduct a meeting with QA lead, product person, etc. And we can combinedly review the test execution report, defect report. We should discuss any open issues and their impact, etc. Because during test execution, there can be multiple defects can be found. So let's take an example. If there is a new feature for which there are hundreds of test cases are written. After execution of 100 of those test cases, tester has found, let's say, 25 issues. Now out of those 25 issues, there should not be any P0 and P1 level issues which are open, because P0 and P1 means they are very critical to the business. So if there are P0 and P1 issues, all those issues should be fixed. Without fixing those issues, it should not be considered as a test completion and we should not give QA sign off. But once P0 and P1 issues are completed, there is possibility that some minor issues might be open. Let's say a small UI related issue, small alignment issue that might not be major impacting on the business scenarios, and that can be fixed later as well. So that is not a blocker for any release of that new feature. So this decision we should take during the combined meeting with QA lead, product person, etc. We should discuss all the test execution report, defect report, whatever issues are logged, whatever issues which are in open state, and if there are any P0 and P1 issues which are still open. Ideally, there should not be any P0 and P1 issues should be open state. All the P0 and P1 should be completed. There is possibility that some of the P2 or P3 level issues can be open, and product person can take a call whether it's fine to have those issues not as an immediate fix. So those issues can be picked later on as well. But that decision need to be taken during the combining meeting. And once those decisions are taken, then we can evaluate with the exit criteria. So exit criteria is when we should conclude the testing. We should consider some parameters like we have just mentioned above. All the testing is completed, all the test coverage is correct, all the business requirements are met, there are no P0 and P1 level issues which are in open state, etc. So by conducting and evaluating all these criteria, we can give the QA sign off. QA sign off, we can provide it on email as well. It is basically an official way from the QA team to say that the build is ready to go for the next state, that is user acceptance testing. So that build is properly tested by QA team, and now QA is saying by giving sign off that we can give it for the UAT. UAT is user acceptance testing. In UAT, product person can do some high level of testing basically, and just to have one verification from his side. Basically, product person will do the UAT. He will let us know if there are any minor feedback, and once the UAT is also completed, it will go on the production. And who looks into these activities? Mainly test lead or test manager look into these test closure related activities. So depending on the defect report and test report, QA lead or QA manager can go through that report. They can discuss with testers to check whether there are no open issues which are impacting to the business. All these activities majorly overseen by test manager or QA lead. So once the QA team provides the sign off, it will go to the product person who will do some minor level testing as a UAT, and once he approves the UAT, the product will go to the production directly. So that is called as a test closure phase of STLC. And what are the deliverables that will be outcome of test closure activity? So main deliverable of test closure activity is test summary report. Test summary report contains all the summary of entire testing. It is a comprehensive report summarizing the testing phase, including key metrics and the overall quality of the software. Test summary report can include all the supporting documents like test execution report, defect logging report, any open issues. All this information will be part of test summary report. If there are any challenges faced during the test execution, any new learnings which we understood during the test execution phase, which would be helpful for next releases, all this information will be part of test summary report. Sign off document. This is again one more deliverable which will be achieved via test closure activity. So that sign off document is basically a formal document indicating approval from stakeholders to proceed with the release to the next phase. So when the QA gives sign off, he can also take some sign off from product person as well as manager and QA lead as well. And in every release or every test execution, we get to know some points or some lessons, what went well or what could have been better, what are the main understanding, what are the challenges we have faced, what should be the solutions on those challenges, which processes we can implement that will help us in next release or next execution phase. So all this information which we learn from the release can be documented in the form of recommendation for future projects as well. So that can be also part of a test summary report. So this is basically a test closure activity which would eventually give the last deliverable, that is test summary report. So with this phase, we have already seen and we have completed all the phases of STLC, software testing life cycle. It focuses on various testing activities and testing phases. It defines different type of testing activities which are conducted by testers, QA lead, QA manager during the SDLC process. So SDLC is basically entire life cycle of software, whereas STLC is subset of SDLC. STLC is different phases which includes all the testing type activities. So what are those phases we have already covered? So requirement analysis was the first phase in which we focus on requirements which need to be tested. Then comes the test plan creation in which all the planning of the test activities are done. Then environment setup activity, test cases execution activity, defect logging, and finally the test cycle closure. So all these phases we have seen in detail in our STLC tutorials. So thank you for watching this video. I hope you have understood the STLC. Now what we will do in the coming sessions, we are going to see some more detailed topics about manual testing. Thank you again. Kindly share this channel, subscribe to my channel for more such videos. Also don't forget to provide any feedback related to my videos. Thank you everyone.